Hello, everybody. What is up? I'm sorry that I have canceled a couple streams in the past while. I was a little sick, and I still kind of am. But don't worry. In the great words of her forehead himself, I'm fine. So, anyways, tonight we're gonna continue on with Turnabout Succession because what else would we do on a Thursday night? No, play something other than Ace Attorney. Blasphemous. Well, it won't be Blasphemous for much longer because, soon we'll be finished with the Polish Justice and we'll be going on to Steins Gate Zero. Hooray! Yeah, as you can tell, I'm definitely sick. Still, sort of sick. And it's not like that. It's not like the kind of sick that, took me out from, doing stuff. It was just more of a, I couldn't go, 5 minutes without coughing. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't go 5 minutes without coughing, which is horrible. But yeah, as you can still hear, I'm still under something, but I'm feeling much better. And if I have the prepared mechanisms, I have a quick way to just mute myself so you don't hear all the coughing and blowing up the nose and stuff. And I also have an emergency end stream button. Although the end stream button's always there, but in case if it really comes down to it, I can end on stream. So I'm gonna try to push through, but no promises. Speaking of time, welcome to, that's kind of how it'll go. Anyways, so what happened last time? We investigated a murder that we're supposed to, figure out. Fun! And it's gonna be a jury, and goddamn, there's gonna be a lot going on. Well, of course there's gonna be a lot going on. One, this is Ace Attorney, and two, this is the final episode of an Ace Attorney game. Come on! Obviously, logic stands that a lot's gonna happen. So, let's just load game, Turnabout Succession. October 8th, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 6. Good morning! Oh yes, I forgot about Apollo being astrology girly. What is that every time we see her? I always am reminded about the time Apollo brought up astrology to a client. So, you're Vera, right? I'm Tracy. Tracy Wright. That's right with a W, but not right as in right, but not enough right. Right? This is just awkward for everybody involved. We're on your side. Can you tell us anything, please? Music. Good morning. Ah! She speaks! Not bad. But I think you better do it. You do better with a smile, Now, if this wasn't coming from a 15-year-old girl, that would sound way bad out of context. Actually, it does kind of sound bad coming from a 15-year-old innocent girl. You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, This would be much better. This is definitely not something you should be saying to somebody, Tracy. We'll give you a pass because you're a 15-year-old innocent girl who has to deal with Phoenix Wright as her father. Tracy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my case. Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. nail polish again. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Try. Oh, really? Curls. The victim, Drew Marison, was a forger, and a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really, and maybe the one that led to his death. Or is it? Dun dun dun! Well, we will now. This is not acting. Wow. Begin the trial of their mission. Is the judge okay? No, the judge is sick. His voice is all raspy and he's looking all a little nervous like. The repercussions of today's trials will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is the test of the juris system, and the first step towards a new order in our court. Daddy's secret mission. The jurist will function like a jury. Wow, no, what else would... Calvert, what else would they do? Would they just act like witnesses? That's amazing how the jurist will function like a jury! Wow! It's hope that their inclusion will help the courts better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Jurist, judge, and well, Judge Cool. No, see here, Prosecutor Kevin. I was going to say that. Yeah, but you don't get the rockin' music. My apologies, Sir Judge. Jurist, judge today's trial coolly, if you so be kind. The jurists are unbound by the letters of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but their feelings. And we're about to find out what effects they are going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, the details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter, Drew Marison. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned by whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Mission. There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Achieved. So someone's been doing their homework. Poison was not present in the coffee, but the mug itself. The mug? The residue found on the rim, I see. The officer report describes the manner of the victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by atropine poisoning. A chemical composed that does not naturally occur. Lethal dosage is a mere 2.2 thousandths kilogram. Right. Yeah, I did that right. Not a touch of mac and cheese in the body. It's the touch of the Reaper's Scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, you may present your witness. I have for today a simple man for a simple case. man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. The journalist, no doubt. It's hard to be tuberin when you're sick. Because sometimes you just have to show your chat a boobas. Unless you don't have any boobas. But I do have boobas. The witness will state his name and occupation. Ah, right! Well, for starters, my name is Mark Special. My job is a lone observer of the world. You mean to say you're a reporter? In other words, a freelance journalist, right? And if you don't mind, I would like to state something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Brushel? I dislike conclusions, especially the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Free conscience to make the park sandbox of endless desert waste, unquote. But you're a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday. Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today with a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony for exchange for the exclusive rights to the story. Skip turn Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel, unquote. A simple case, eh, Miss Gavin? For me, the jury is still out. But Polo, they're not even in the courtroom. They're in a different room, so they're technically out. But I get the pun. I was in the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the yells here. Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us some coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star Falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. But what are you saying, Judge? Need I remind you that the cameras are still rolling today? I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. Your Honor, please. You are present in every single Ace Attorney game. Okay, except for... I'm gonna assume he makes an appearance in Investigations 2. You were present in every single spin-off game except for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, because you were not even alive. But your grand ancestor, the British judge, also known as my lord, was a part of it. You are a staple to Ace Attorney, Your Honor. You do not need to be dramatic. Just be the lovable goofball you are. Be a lovable old goofball you are, Your Honor. You didn't need to do it. You didn't do it, did you? Like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker making news, end quote. Or even charity witch, end quote. I know, wild accusations to Rock's courtroom, end quote. Ha 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 ha, Rock, indeed. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Very well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. Not at Nate. Isn't that a little late for an interview? It's a great patron, Mr. True Management has come at 9 o'clock. If you believe me, I'd go at 9 o'clock. First, and it turned out to our last interview was such a prolific painter. Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? You were the first reporter to ever enter a studio. Pressability will look back on that night and take a turning point in journalistic history. A basic insignificant for a giant stuff for that brushless guy, end quote. If no one from the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve to reason that the deed was done by an insider, by which he means Vera did it. So how did this epoch making interview go? It sounded brought us coffee right after we started. Would you mind being a little more specific? Ooh, let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all began when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait, 4th grade. That's not what I meant! I believe I know what her forehead is driving at. This coffee and the victim deserve. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, that's what I was going to say, really. Now I want to know what Apollo is going to say. What were you going to say, Apollo? What were you going to say, Apollo? Well, now if you got a question to ask, you bust straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the new recruits several times as necessary. Right for a great schooler. That's my motto. So basically, he tells all his new recruits, explain it to them like they're 5. Who touched the coffee? Don't know. I was in the back, looking at the studio's equipment when she served it. What happened next? What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money over. Fuzzy. You don't know. That's like a journalist code word. An important person passes away. A star falls. Get it? But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Is there gravity in space?
According to NASA, some people think that there is no gravity in space. In fact, a small amount of gravity is found everywhere in space. Gravity is what holds the moon in orbit around Earth.
There we go. Space has gravity. Has little gravity. Does this matter? Yes, it does, Apollo. We want to learn science. Oh boy! This is good stuff. Good stuff. How about star braids? Nah. Lacks punch. I know. Star ties? Nah. Lacks imagination. Of course, you can go with Drew Dyes. Straight to the point. I like it. I think we need to hear about something a little more sustainable. About when Mr. Masham passed away. Oh boy, what a scene that was! He puts his cosmic down and with a crash, right? Yes, and then? And the cold finger of death touches his mind, like flames sputters and falls. So cold that with that touch but he not to do this, troubling uncontrollably. Actually, Light's flame is a little tighter. Lest the river froze over. Yes, that's a go! I think you started his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply? Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. An artist's seizure is the final performance, end quote. Atropine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body aches arches over and bows the lip. That's quite enough of that. What did the paper say again? Right. Some of us want to be able to sleep. Oh yeah. Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details. For that, you can listen to our last year's. Yeah, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Astro Queen, My Love, Puzzle Captures, available at all major music outlets. Quick, someone go and quick see if we can find that on Spotify. If not, am I literally gonna stupidly look this up on Spotify? Yes, I am. There's a playlist of it. Probably songs that probably remind them of like the Gaviners and stuff, but you know, it's fine. There's a playlist. The point here is that the victim died of ag queen poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find that testimony? Very important. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests the witness to add this account to his testimony. You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure? Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I got more than a share of experience of so-called poisoning. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye. End quote. Food poisoning doesn't count. Did I get him to talk about something else? Talk about the coffee. So you drank the coffee that Vera served you too, Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. I know a certain prosecutor who would definitely agree to that. I'm talking about Godot if you don't know. That's what my old boss always said. He used to say, never did get what he meant by it though. But which to me, but you're still alive, which means say you didn't die. Of course not. No points falls before you are a star. That's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee. Oh yes. There was 2 cups on the tray she brought, and one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side. No chance the guest would take the one by the mistake then, I guess. Well, Mr. Justice, was that testimony important? Very important. We're talking about the coffee the witness drank. I'd say that's important. Very well. Please add that to your testimony, Mr. Russell. I'm not dead yet. You sure you drank the coffee? Oh, yes, quite. I gulped it down. Felt that sweet. Of course. But you said the victim took 1 sip and fell over. And you still kept drinking? Of course. Drink your coffee when it's hot, never when it's cold. Not. That's what my old boss used to say. Never really knew what he meant by that. I think he meant that literally, Mr. Russell. Should I get him to talk about something else? You see Mr. Mesham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course! He who sees it wins it, but he who says it wins bigger, end quote. I live in a man sees dog eat world and writes about it world. Yet, I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, that's it. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote. That poison is quite verdant, I hear. My stomach did the so-called somersault. Since I gulped it down with that, I gulped out my coffee without much as a single glance. Wait, maybe there's something in there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture into a guess for the record? Does this guy have a pause button? More like, does he have a mute button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? Very important. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over. Oh, yes, you can go to the press with that one. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The witness will add this to his testimony. Vital, right. He had one sip of that. He had one sip, if that. In the next moment, he was on the floor. No one else. So he either took a sip or he didn't, then fell over? Oh yes, indubitably. Just like that. Wham bang! So Mr. Mishram drank the coffee and fell over immediately. I think Russell's telling the truth too. Should I get him to talk about something else? No need. There's no really need to change the testimony. The problem with this testimony is already pretty obvious. Can you say that for sure? For sure? Sure, I'm sure. Straight Studios isn't a big place, kiddo. I know if someone else had come in. What if they had been hiding in there from before? Even if someone's been hiding in the studios, they hardly could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing. You think I, Sparks Marshall, would have missed something as obvious as that? No way. He sure makes it sound exciting. I guess that's his job. There's only one moment to focus on, really. The moment when Drew Masham died? Exactly. There has to be something there. Wait. It's a slow-acting poison. So if you just fell over and died after taking one sip, then it wouldn't be a slow-acting poison. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used. The atraquine. Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about that poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Oh, you know why, Apollo. You know why. Don't look at Your Honor like that. Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. An omission. Adequate is a virulent, as he says, but the death doesn't come upon ingestion, not immediately. That's because the adequate is slow acting. Slow acting? What? According to one forensic scientist, it's one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body externally slowly. If it takes at least 15 minutes for the time of ingestion for its effects to show. Mr. Masham slipped his coffee and then was sealed his fate, then he would still have had time to enjoy his last cup of joe. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? If what the defense is saying is correct, why would that contradicts the entire testimony we just heard? Well, Mr. Brushell, anything to say? On the record. Slow acting. SLOWACT. Is a merchant, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging into claws as a journalist. He's working on his scoop. It's Brushell, Ja. Her Brushell. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die in the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that not so simple suggestion. Unquote. I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say Shadenden, which means I'm sorry to my simple case. See, I know German. I know a little German. So yeah. I probably also butchered the saying of it, but I know what I know that I'm right when I know when it means that it means I'm sorry or like sorry, right? Now I feel like I've got to Google this just to make sure I'm right. Oh, I was close. It means goodbye or see you later. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Come again? I hope no one clips that and sends that to Carrot. Butchering his own language. Like, wow. How could I? Come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? At least the case drags on. The other reporters will pick up the scent. And you will be forced to kick your exclusive scoop goodbye. Scoop. Scoop. Look, wait, just wait. A second, 1 second. We're waiting. Wait, that was it? I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. Revival of recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote. Attorney utterly confused, end quote. Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I heard a poison that takes its sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushell, are you saying you noticed something that explains what just happened? You bet I am! Oh my gosh, he kind of looks nervous or something. An antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, might say. Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. Apollo, don't attempt to speak, okay? It doesn't work with you. I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalistic skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. Order, order. As far as I can tell, the witness in the stand is standing by his testimony that Mr. Misham died instantly after he drank. Well, here's... Are we sure the victim's dead? That is a crazy hypothesis, but what if Mr. Misham isn't actually dead and he was just trying to fake his own death for some reason? Of course I'm standing by my testimony. And my dream that exclusive rights to this story. I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him. Him? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Of course Phoenix! It's Phoenix fucking Wright, everybody! The man, the myth. The man and the myth. Who wouldn't pick us? Why? Who would ever think he would pick such a simple case? Man. Achie, Herr Brushel, report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial for the justice system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter. He quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? Sorry about the booba? Yes, he had this look on his face. Man's face is tragical as erratic as a quadrication, end quote. Suicide for Mr. Misham. I love how I jumped to he faked his own death before suicide. That's how much these games have shaped me. This is much how 7 Ace Attorney games does to you. You jump over a possible suicide and you jump to faked his own death. Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't really have a story before the whole fake his own death, so I guess maybe somewhere deep in my mind I was thinking suicide, but I immediately jumped to, he totally, like, faked his own death. No biggie or whatever. But that means Vera's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination. Was there anyone in the studios other than Mr. Misham? Well, his daughter Vera, of course. Is anyone besides Mr. Misham and Vera present? Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse. The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Brushel? I know what you're doing! I know what you're doing. Attorney uses classic Brandish Fema ploy, end quote. If you intend to suggest that this reporter is a suspect, I'm sure you also intend to prevent evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? He seems to be writing a letter. He quickly sealed the envelope. So he put the letter away when he saw you. Early reporter gets the worm, end quote. That's my secret. I'm not sure I follow. It's the night of the interview. I arrived 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Oh my gosh, he sounds like Papa Nova. Papa Nova is always like, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. As the handle turns, the door opens, barge in. Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really? Mr. Bishop sure seems to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. Yellow? Oh, whoa, wee. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. I know a secret when I spot one. That was one. Yeah. Ah. Yellow. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, whoa, whoa. It does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice, I wonder. It does have a ring of something important. Add it to the testimony! The defense finds the testimony vital, Your Honor. Very well. Please add it to the testimony then. Ha! Why not? My account comes free as a charge. And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with the letter. Hey! Don't look at me like that. I saw it. Apollo, you think it might be our big break? Yeah. What I need to show is some test evidence now. Nah. We got a couple processes to do. At the time, I thought nothing of it, of course. You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time? Hey! When I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring, end quote. So what about now? Thinking back onto it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Misham's behavior? Well, yeah. That's why I'm telling you all this to begin with. Very well, continue with your testimony. A suicide note? Well, yeah! Don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying, it's a possibility, you know. You didn't actually check the letter? Of course not. It was sealed. Content of the can unknown until it's open. You can always check the label. Do you think Mr. Masham was writing a suicide note? If he was, that would solve this case in a jiffy. Kind of makes sense to me. Wonder about the letter. Now, time to press the letter. A yellow envelope, huh? A velvet yellow envelope. Oh me, oh my, it was not yellow indeed. Are you gonna claim that you're colorblind? As it just so happens, there was a single letter in the desk drawer in the scene. A red envelope. It matches my suit. What? Prosecutor Gavin. Yes. Was the yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But her forehead, it's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already, 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Prushel, I can explain that. True. Right. Well, he wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get out of sight. It might be the eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, Mr. Justice, have anything to say to in this claim? That night, the victim pulled the letter. That night, the victim pulled the letter he has been writing in an envelope. It's impossible. That's impossible. Ah, I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? You might know her. It's the fraudulent detective. Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham. Oh! Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself. I've been scooped! Phoenix Wright taking its simple case? What? That would be a big shocker! Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh, my. How could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporters get old, forgets lots, end quote. He looks like he's fucking in his 30s. I was fucking right! I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Well, that's the thing. See, after he puts his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp! A so-called postage stamp, end quote. A stamp? Whatever for? Well, to mail his letter. What else? And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put his letter in his box. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box. Well, apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with this case. Oh, how I wish it did. I think that if it was a suicide note, what a story. Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. False, end quote. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said, yes, Your Honor, it makes me wonder about the context of that red envelope. Mrs. Masham, I've deposited the 100 crates designated into signed the papers and sent in the enclosed envelope and enclosed with stamp within 3 days. 100,000 grand! That's quite a good deal of money! So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? So am I finished here? Am I finished here? I was ready, thinking, go home, start writing. I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the sense of a story, you make that rather unique face. Come on! Attorney has active imagination, little else. End quote. Hey! Are you trying to say about my imagination? I only speak the truth. I even noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. I'm starting to understand what all this the perceiving stuff is about. My bracelet hasn't even reacted, Your Honor. Judge has an active imagination. End quote. God damn it, Apollo! This is why the honor always makes you an example of stupid shit! Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the sense of the story. Hey, I'm the one asking questions here. Usually. You're in a courtroom right now. As the witness. We should be the ones asking you all the questions! Are you even a journalist? I'm pretty sure he is. Actually, it took a bit of work to get up the thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leveraged his story, gets his interview. End quote. The story concerns a certain case from 7 years ago. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but truth telling was without compare. So you're starting to go to the press with this story. That's how you got your interview? Blackmail? Well, yes. No! It wasn't exactly blackmail. I mean, I'm not, or something wrong, Mr. Brushel. Look! This is my story. My Tibbet, my journalist info is livelihood, end quote. I see. Well, you have me chatting away here. What's going on there? What if some Wally Wordsmith or Sally Scoop gets the wind of my story? They could be going to the press while I'm gonna waste. The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Joseph, let's pick up the pace. Love ya. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? Right, because why would Phoenix Wright pick a case, a normal, simple case? Wow, who would have guessed that Phoenix didn't go simple at all? Wow. You do have to apologize that I do have to keep going away to, like, blow my nose and cough and stuff, but I don't want you guys to have to hear all that stupid, all that gross shit right in the mic. I could do it if you want, but who knows? Let's see where this takes us. Actually, it took a bit of work to get the thumbs up on the interview. The victim, Jumashim, and the evasion to reporters. Boy, I guess not even my considerable charm did such for him. Until I finally got the thumbs up, that is. Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us. Look. Exactly what sort of story was this? Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between, end quote. I might have had suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or call or nothing honest. So suggesting was enough to get the interview. Miss Mission must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. A certain case 7 years ago. Tell us, what case? Let me say one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case. Why not? It's about journalistic pride and celebrity credibility and connection. Journalists reveal sources only over his dead body, end quote. So what will we? Gonna strangle me? Dead man don't tell us. Sounds pretty determined not to talk. Our chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. Well, I think I figured out what statement we gotta perceive on. On one hand, we have your story, and on the other hand, this letter. What makes you think the two are related? I was just saying it's possible. Call it a reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I was saying a lot of things. You guys are gonna pick up them all apart. Be my guess. All of them. No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. Incredibly suspicious ones. I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Misham? Say what you will, but Mr. Drew's talent was without compare. Just how amazing was Mr. Misham's talent? Huh? Hoo-wee boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star! The flow of his brush is like great undulating rivers across canvases. The arm of his paints is slice up the city as like sun, end quote. This guy's full of wacky gestures. That one just now was vackier than usual. He looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sure I'm sensing something different about this here before. Maybe it's time to bring out you-know-what. That pet has my lead. Bad taste in my mouth. All makes sense. Nothing more ridiculous. What are you talking about? Maybe it had something to do with Mr. Missioner's art. I feel like he's an eyebrow man. Let's try the other statement. I really do feel like he's an eyebrow twitch kind of man. He's not an eyebrow twitch man. Or is he an eyebrow twitch man? I don't think he's an eyebrow twitch man. Might be something with his hands. I don't think he's an eyebrow. Man, I was really hoping he was an eyebrow twitch man. I don't know why. He just looks like the type of has an eyebrow twitch. Let's go back to the other statement. That's the one they were talking about perceiving. Maybe he's a nose guy. Maybe he has a nose twitch. I feel like I'm a nose twitch kind of gal. I'll be real with you. Let's try the other statement again. Nope. Not. Damn, he's not a. I was. feel like this is the one with where I gotta proceed. I think I found his nervous habit. Gotcha! Man, I really was thinking it would be as simple as he was an eyebrow twitch man. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel? Yeah, well, a man can't help his glands, you know. More than that. When Mr. Mushroom's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. Ah! You're hiding something about his talent. What? That's ridiculous. Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Mushroom's true talent lies. It just happens I have an assurance to talent that you mentioned in the letter. I show this. Man first bridges, Dickies forgets to cross first. Oh wait. This painting was found in Mr. Mishran's studio. There was two problems with this painting. First, it wasn't painted by Mr. Mishram. Second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Now we have this letter discussing a payment of 100,000 grain, 100 grain, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries. Oh! That is all, Your Honor. And everyone, please, everyone, can we keep this in private, please? This is my story, my scoop! Forgery. That is a serious crime. Drew Masham is known as an artist these days, but there was rumors that he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back. Another art, meaning forgeries? Drew Masham was talented, alright. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover. Criminal elements? What? You can't be seriously talking about... Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. Who are you? The rumors started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? So, are we to understand that this letter, this payment of 100,000 grams was for exactly forged evidence and nets tidily profit, end quote. Order! Why, it's like our victim was living a double life. Aha, this is my chance. So the victim has ties to the criminal world, right? He could have plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we concluded our investigation. Detective. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here. But there's no proof tying this letter to our case. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Are you forgetting that the one who picked up this case for today, Calvert Gavin, is the man you got his attorney badge taken away from? Did you really think it would be so simple? This is a case picked out by motherfucking Phoenix Wright. defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course. Hey! Only thing I poisoned is my pen when my rent is... Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen. What are you talking about my journaling versus Roxella so you can stand on an elephant on it? End quote. In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can ascertain to the situation in the studio from over the recap, the trial is over. Apollo, what is he talking about? The cross-examination showed that Mr. Brussels doesn't have any reason or mean to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects, then the killer has to be Vera. That's what. This next testimony is our last chance. Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please. The only person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the cup. She admitted it as much as herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing else in the studio after he died. Nothing. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. A nice testimony. Clear, something, and without room for doubt. Shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your final cross-examination. Right. I still have one trump card left to play. And I won't let this trial end until I use it. Wait, what's our trump card? Is this tiny frame our trump card? Is this our trump card right here? I mean, we still have this. Is this our trump card? We have plenty of trump cards. But that doesn't prove that Vera poisoned. How many times have we heard that one, her forehead? The poison reached its victim via that coffee mug. And from where did that coffee come from? Not to be a dead horse again. And again. But perhaps you could fill us in. I'm on it. You need a horse. You need a horse to beat? You need a horse to beat? I'm your man! And you witnessed her pouring the coffee? Of course I didn't witness it. She came in with that tray. That coffee was already poured in the steaming. Let's not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself. I heard her statement. I poured, I served, and I killed. What? Ha 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 ha! That last part was just a little joke. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with this coffee mug. I need to find another weak spot in this case. You sure about that? Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time. One of those candies might have been poisoned. Yet, at the time of the observation, no, fresh fragrance of mint filled the room, and no mint residue was found. It was a long shot anyways. Don't tell me you were still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than the coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof, the possibility is there, I can feel it. Maybe not prove it yet. Impossibly isn't going to cut it now. And Mr. Misham ingested that poison via another route and then the coffee. Not yet, because I just want to press everything. It can't be proven. I do believe our little forehead is growing up. Pity. We like the rash, useful forehead best. Another hole in this case. It needs to be plugged before I can prove anything. But first things first, I better uncover that weak spot before I try to strike again. And I on with the cross-examination! I just wanted to press other things. Not one thing? You sure? Yep, sure as it sure can be. Well, with one exception. One exception? What? Journalist Mark Brushel does interview. Leave studios, end quote. Come on! It's a joke! Get it? Not funny, I know, but still. Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound so familiar? Where have I heard something like that before? Now that could prove in witness as a comedian of sorts. Hey Tristy, do you have any fun magic tricks you could show me right now? It is our trump card is the tiny frame. I would like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left that studio that night? Wait, something left the studio. Wait a second. Are you ready, Apollo? Ready? For what? For what? For the Trump Dare Make Grand Magic Show! It's not like I'm getting up on the stage or anything. What are you talking about, Apollo? You can't enjoy magic if you're not a part of what's going on. You can't enjoy magic if you're not a part of what's going up on the stage. I'll lend you my spare costume if you need one. Huh? You mean I can't go in this? No! Doesn't get more straightforward than that. I can't think of a single thing. If anything did leave, Mr. Brushel wouldn't notice. That I would. Nothing left. Save myself, of course. Say that again and you'll be held in contempt of court. Let's get back to the cross-examination then. Look, I just wanted to press more, okay? I know what to do. You say clearly as though it was obvious. But this claims that the defendant poisoned the victim is merely conjecture. Ah, yes, well, you see. In my business, it's all about making those most ridiculous things sound right. Right. Absolutely. A bad habit, I know. Yeah, well, actually, I guess this is more of a case of ridiculous journalism sounds wrong, end quote. This court is forced to agree with you. Please refrain from a wild conjecture. Understood again! If only I could believe that. What do you think, Apollo? Everything he's saying seems not so flawed. Well, that's kind of what you want from a testimony, really. I need to keep my eye on what matters. How and why and Drew was killed. If they report the coffee, that's not going to change. But if that coffee didn't kill him, I need to find out what did and prove it. to risk it. Oh, excellent. Let's see your proof then. Please show us your evidence. What evidence shows that the victim wasn't poisoned via his coffee mug? Huh? Huh? I must explain this over. Must I explain this over and over and over? We don't need possibilities here, her forehead. We need proof. I know that! You should also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early. I can tell what we know at this point. The victim put nothing into the mouth but that coffee mug. Another hole in this case needs plugging before I can prove anything, but first things first. I better uncover a weak spot before I try to strike again. Oh, Mr. Cross-examination! Just one thing. I think one thing might be very well left that studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene. By which you mean... something other than our witness? Of course. Don't tell me. Vera Mission. Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unconventional. Then, let us see what you got for us, Mr. Justice. Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows that it could have been taken from the scene. I'm probably right. I find Prosecutor Gavin more amusing than this guy, really. That was comic relief. Why not feel amused? We want evidence, not entertainment, Mr. Justice. Here goes my clear. Stand up. Apollo, please. You a sassy lawyer, not a funny lawyer. Leave the funny lawyering to the Phoenix. Well, if this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows that it could have been taken from the scene. Wait. The letterbox! Boy! There's only one link between that studio and the outside world. A letterbox? What did Mr. Bushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it was true. Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Ah! But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. I'm fine! I'm fine! The great words of her forehead himself. I'm fine. Oh, come on. Yes, so intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course. This changes nothing. Huh? He has the point, Mr. Justice. We're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. If it's really important that the envelope the witness says he saw disappeared. Well, if it didn't disappear, then something did leave that studio that night. That seems very important to me. Very well done. The witness will add this to his testimony. You got it! I still think this fails to change anything for her forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio, and you were hiding that fact from us. Yes, well, actually, I don't argue the possibility that a letter disappears from the studio, but her forehead, isn't there much more serious than the question before us? Right, how Mr. Mishram was poisoned, I know, but Mr. Brushall's testimony has changed, which means the fact that has changed, case has changed. He told us to mean something entirely different now, I'm starting to think. Let's keep thinking, Apollo. Wait, the letter could have had the poisoning on it. And what we need, Jeff. Proof, her forehead, not possibilities. Of course. And Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. I'm ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have proof of the disappearance envelope. I saw him writing a letter, I did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume. Of course. Which means that the envelope had a stamp on it. A stamp. Ah! As we all know, stamps come with the dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp. No one worth talking to actually licks stamps in this day and age. Yeah, because they're really just good stickers. Because they're just really good stickers nowadays, Apollo. If you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all. Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait, how does that explain the acquaintance on the rim of his coffee mug? If you licked the back of a poisoned lamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would that happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth, Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around. What? The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Mishram. Mr. Mishram poisoned the coffee himself. Order! But that does it? Recall, if you would. Aquentin is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when you put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe. He's like, yes, good stuff. You have something to add, Mr. Brushall. Uh-oh. His nose is picking up in another sense. I believe I mentioned it earlier. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Mishram sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Ah, yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote. But I don't seem to remember him ever finding one. Maybe he just ran out. Incidentally, we searched the dress drawer for the scene of the crime. There was no stamp. Not a single one. That does pose a problem. How would you prove that the stamp was coated with poison? Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible. Ha 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 ha! Good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the Let's hear what the defense has to say anyways. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of a poison stamp? Well, that certainly is a cute little frame. And by little, I mean real little. It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that too during my inspection. So what? Ah, so apparently you weren't observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important. Missing something... Yes, a pale brush and stains inside instain of spray. Adequate residue. What? Why wasn't I told about this? Because I was the one who found it, you dummy. The frame is only 2 inches in square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You weren't saying. Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A stamp! A community stamp, perhaps? Okay, but then who poisoned it? We're back to square one now, okay? The poison stamp was in this frame? Somebody could easily still say, oh, Vivera poisoned it. Just waiting for her father. Impossible! For Prosecutor Gavin. Why would he put something like that on his desk? Well, I mean, what are you talking about? I have like 2 Pokemon cards on my desk. As like literal decoration. Oh, shit. I have a reverse hollow Skarmory, and of course, I have the reverse hollow Altaria that we got from that booster box that I won in the giveaway from Mr. Derbidouli. And they're just sitting in front of my Switch, just like being all cool, being like cool and like decoration. So how dare you say that? I haven't put them in a frame, and maybe I should get a frame for them. That would be so cute. I should get a frame for them. Oh, but they wouldn't fit into such a cute little one like that. Oh man, I'd have to buy 2 if that was the case. But then I would also have to like cut them. But then that would ruin the whole reason why I kept these 2 in particular, because they're reverse hollows. Don't tell me he had theirs to commit suicide and the mood struck. You know, I can't say. Can I say something? As I had a thought, see? What, Mr. Brushel? Please stop jittering like that. The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends and makes enemies too, unquote. So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon? It might have been a murder weapon aimed at him. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, Rich. That's Rich. Leave the ridiculous fights to the fancy Gavner song lyrics, please. Finally, something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon. Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would get such things? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again? Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Mr. Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact to the outside world was the mail. The mail. Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew red letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous! Where's your proof? I want proof. Show us the evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I might not have evidence, per se, but things are finally starting to come together. What is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mishram was killed. Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice. A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you with the how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Mishram a punch of death. Do we show the tiny frame again? I feel like I did it wrong. Yeah, I think I fucked up. Was I wrong? I believe we have shown positive intent to kill. Except the killer would be her judge and the victim you. Ah! Consider that a warning, Mr. Justice. Think before you presenting next time. Yes, Your Honor. Let's take this one over again. They sent him the stamp. Isn't the envelope the one from 7 years ago? Think about the text of the letter again. There are 2 pages in that envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I wanted to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor. Ah! In other words, if I had this straight, the stamp, poison on the stamp, lick, gas, end quote. Now, what if he had done exactly what the letter asked? He would sign this document and put in the envelope and put the stamp on it, right? Then he would put his letter in the box. 15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed after affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock is ticking when it came to this time. He drew his final breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene. Quite conveniently thanks to the postal system. Such a splendid imagination you have, her forehead. Hello there again, money. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago. Yeah? Is that what you have us to believe? Really? Well, is it a little bit of a stretch that there's a possibility? But there's a possibility. But wouldn't something about like the poison not like activating or wait. We can go back to turnabout memories for this. Wait, no, Phoenix didn't die after eating the evidence, though. So I guess we can't go to turn back to when Phoenix ate evidence. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stamp in this envelope. A stamp that that then became a murder weapon? How do you intend to prove such a seemingly coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago, and we don't even know who sent that letter. And your answer is silent. I see. Very well. I move to. It's not easy. It's not nice to pick on the fraudulent, Calver. What is he doing here? Oh. Emma! Well, like my Kristoff Gavin impression? Did I sound like him? Don't quit your day job. So you have a crime scene to be looking after on the fraudulent detective. Someone had to come dig you out of this mess you're making of this case. Mess? You know, none of this would have happened if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out if that stamp was... You can find out if that stamp was in that envelope. Easy. Care to explain yourself, Brooklyn detective? Glare at me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the residue, right? That's right! That poison detection spray. Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it up on the authority of the court. Ah! 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 Nail it! Well, what would you look at that? No mistaking it. That's a kind of residue. I don't believe it. A murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last. Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Misham figured it out. Figured out what? He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead. So he sent his reply with a different stamp. And he put his decisive evidence in a frame? Alright, who's calling the shots this time? God damn. Ah, you're still here? Can I make a statement here on the record? I, Spark a Razor Teeth with a brushel, claims the scoop is mine! Drew Misham killed in cold blood. By sender of a 7-year-old letter, end quote. No, maybe something more like the star falls after 7 years delay, end quote. Order! I see no room for this further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. To think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp is ticket straight to the afterlife. End quote. Uh-oh. I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge. I see no further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly be our defendant. Apollo! I think we just won. Very well. This court defines the defendant. Oh, right. The jury system. Is this the bright future of our legal system? Prosecutor Gavin? A ticket here to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Tickets for the Gavner shows are invalid after 2 weeks. But it doesn't make any sense under anything, will they? It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction in her forehead's claim. Contradiction? In my claim? How dare you! I speak nothing but contradiction. I figure out contradiction. A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it's framed until now. If that was the case, then why would Drew Misham have done what he did? Emma explained that he must have realized it was poison. Therein lies the rub. Right! If he realized it was poison, why the hell would he use it even after 7 years? Which goes back to my theory of he faked his own death. "7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sends the trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this. But this begs the question, why 7 years later did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Misham simply forgot. He put the murder weapon in the frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe that he sprang the trap on himself? While I admit this is all quite shocking myself, it does seem highly unlikely that he would fall a fool to a trap. that has been sitting on his desk for 7 years. Apollo, I don't think we're winning anymore. Ah, I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you. Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? The poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proof such as such thing ever existed. What about the adricane residue, huh? Oh, I agree. That does seem a bit... That seems to be adricane residue. But her forehead, it's certainly no stamp. Yeah, but even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Mishram would have never used it. That is all. Heck. I believe we have come to a conclusion. Again. Apollo! Were we wrong the whole time? I can't believe it. The poison trace matches up. It can't be a coincidence. I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year. Mr. Justice? Yes, Your Honor? Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 7 years ago, Drew Mishram receives a red envelope. There is traces of poison adricane on the document inside that envelope. A simple trace was also found at the crime scene. On this tiny picture frame, the defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that has left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it. Yes, but even if this envelope contained the poison stamp, Drew Mishram, knowing of this, put it in a frame. He never would have used that stamp. I'm afraid you're right, which means there are fatal flaws in the defense's case. I haven't been wrong. I haven't been wrong on this track this whole time. I'm sure of it. Trace of the adricane, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Mishram's mysterious death. They all connected somehow. Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us? The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We have seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be a fake. Ah, fake clue. Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies will be proven quite reasonable, Jack. The fake clue that has thrown out all of us. Drew Mishram. Because, like I said, he faked his own death. Oh, I'm back on the theory that he faked his own death. The victim was a fake clue. I'm afraid I don't understand. I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug that's linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations. You completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger. It makes a good story. I'll give you that. The fake clue. Fakes. Forgery. Ah! I know that face. I just had an idea face. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyways. What if our forger is the fake? Come again? 7 years ago, our forger sniffed the trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why? That's what I want to know. Because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are again. The victim was a fake. One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake. Order! Order! So you're telling us that Drew Mishram, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger? You better not be claiming there was some kind of a switcheroo. I'm afraid you're going to have to back up your story. Mr. Justice, show us who the real Drew Mishram was. Drew Mishram wasn't the real forger. There's only one person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger himself was a forgery. The real forger was... Only one other person it could have been? I don't understand. be a long shot, but there can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger is known as Drew Misham, is none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham. Order! Order! Mr. Justice, this is going on a limb, even for you. I kinda agree. I mean, Vera, a forger? Let's consider it before you write it off completely. If you look at the paintings in the studios, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery has been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the only one caught in the trap wasn't the forger. Well, actually, that does make certainly kind of sense. One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger studios. Drew Misham's and Vera's Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that only leaves one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Misham. Well, fascinating. Vera Misham? You've been paying attention to this trial so far. Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger? Drew Misham? Oh. Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by fraudulents, believe me. So they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged these works of art? Yes. So the forger, Drew Misham, was you? Yes, it was me. Aww, that's a sad one. Aww, that's kind of adorable. What? What? The court was in an uproar, and it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess. But that will be next Tuesday! Ba-da-da-da! Complete. Back. Game menus, because we gotta change music. Tradition. Let's do get some court theme in here. Yeah! Let's do cross-examination on Gato. Yeah! So upbeat, I love it. Not my favorite cross-examination music though. My favorite goes to Elgato 2013, which is Dual Destiny, obviously, because Dual Destiny has all the best music. I heard it's a mediocre game though, but we'll see for ourselves one day. Yeah, let me close out the game then. Get media source up, but thank you all for watching tonight. It was very fun, and I had lots of fun. And like I said, we'll be back for more Polish Justice on Tuesday next week. But I believe we should be on for Versailles Cleanup Detail on Saturday with Random and Alexa, and I'm not Buffer was rating me right as I ending sing again! Buffer! I am just ending, man! But thank you for the follow, Samantha of the Eden. Why does would tell us not to trust you with a tank or other firearms. Leo, it's Buffer. What have you been telling your community about me? I am the first person you should be trusting with tanks and other firearms. After all, I am a fictional lawyer at law. Attorney at law. I should be the first person you should trust with tanks and firearms. I'm not gonna do anything malicious with them. Why would you ever think of that? It's not like I'm a crazy person after all. Not at all. I'm completely sane. What do you mean? Fine. Anyways. What was I talking about before? I was so rudely interrupted by a raid. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate you, Puffer, for coming in, even though I'm wrapping up here. I was saying something. Talked about that. Oh, right! I was talking about potentially a stream tomorrow, but it's very unlikely that we'll be doing something tomorrow. I'm probably going to be playing something with my mods tomorrow, but I'm probably not going to stream it because the way we're talking about it's the first time we're all doing this, and we kind of want to. And when we're doing something for the first time, usually I do like to keep that off stream, just so that way it's not like all of us are just like, what are we doing? And then like we have to like get scolded by like chats, and I'm like, I don't want that. I want us to be silly together. Come on, I'm allowed to have silly fun times with my mods off stream, okay? But I think Random and Alexa and I will be doing some Bristol cleanup on Saturday. So, and then next week, I don't have next week planned, but I think I might get the mods together for a little Sea of Thieves, because I have been itching to play that with them for a past while. At this point, this is the part where it's been a while since I streamed because of the stupid cold. This is the part where I have to find someone to give our raid off to. So, alright. I got ourselves the raid target. Make sure to go. Never mind! They just went offline! So, backup plan! We're gonna hit up American Sneakers. See, at least I check if my raid targets are ending before I raid them, Buffer. So we are gonna raid American Sneakers. So, I hope you guys had fun. And I'll see you guys all either Saturday. No. Anyways, goodbye. Night. I'll see you guys Saturday. Purple.